But all in all, and also probably children will be joining me, but I wanted to hop on and talk about combating burnout in the holiday season. Burnout, first of all, is fairly common in this industry in general. I know I have gone through it several times. There's just a lot of ups and downs in general. I mean, being your own business, just the highs and lows of the different things that happen. And then especially like if you come in and, you're really crushing your business right out of the gate or something like that, and you have all these really big highs, and then you start to come off the highs. And then you're dealing with, okay, this momentum and trying to get yourself to show up and all of that kind of stuff. There's just a lot of things. And then if you specifically are looking at Lavelle, like Lavelle is incredible. They are constantly dropping all of these different bonuses. But with that can also come a sense of burnout, a sense of constantly being on, because they're kind of dropped in your lap. And then you have this short little window that you're chasing after it. So it's like you're constantly just go, 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 trying to get to that next win, that next bonus that is happening. And then, of course, on top of that, you're adding in now the holiday seasons. And that can be really hard because not only are you being pulled in different directions within your business, but you're being pulled in different directions with all these other things, like all, the parties that are going on, all the time that you want to spend with your family, the things that you want to do with your kids, whether it can be a lot of different things. But one thing that I have noticed over the years is that oftentimes my burnout is associated with an emotion. And a lot of times, that burnout or that sense of feeling of exhaustion or whatever is actually tied to an emotion. And if I can find out what that emotion is, I can typically overcome that burnout a lot quicker. So for me, one of the emotions that I would have like right now is mom guilt. The holiday seasons, I have all these fun things that I want to do with my kids, all this stuff planned for my family, traveling, all the things. And so, but I still want to set aside this time for my business. And so I constantly have that tug, that thing in the back of my mind. It's like, oh, I should be doing this with my kids. Or it could be something along the lines of, frustration because maybe you aren't where you want to be. You missed that last bonus, or, you feel like you're putting all this work in, but you're not getting the rewards that you think you should be for the amount of effort. So that frustration can build up. And a lot of times that could translate into what we think is burnout. But kind of sometimes we're taking that easy way out. Or it can be just like the overwhelmed feeling, the anxiety of, I have all these things that I need to get done. I don't have the time to do it. And so just what I'm kind of getting at is if you feel like you're starting to have that burnout, I'm going to give you some tips to kind of deal with that, but try to sit down and see what is the emotion that is tied to this burnout? Like what is going on in my life right now that is making me feel burnout? Am I frustrated? Am I overwhelmed? Do I have anxiety about all the things? Do I feel like I'm failing right now? Because a lot of that, then depending on what that emotion might be, say if it's mom guilt, a way to overcome that would be time management, trying to figure out and setting schedules, and setting your pockets, setting timers, doing all that kind of stuff is going to help be like, okay, you know what? I did my business for this amount of time that I agreed that I was going to do it. I got done what I got. Maybe I didn't get done what I wanted to, but that's it. I need to put my phone down and I'm going to go spend time with my family, my kids, whatever it may be. If it's failure or frustration, coming up with a game plan, reaching out to your upline, seeing what you've been doing, see if there's some suggestions that maybe your upline might have. Kind of just create some spark, come up with some interest. And again, setting that time management, because a lot of frustration, a lot of failure of not hitting that bonus, it actually transitions to, well, I did all this kind of work and then I didn't hit my mark. Well, also keep in mind that all that work that you put in, maybe it didn't pay out for this bonus, but it's going to pay out down the road. So you always have to keep that in the back of your mind, but also just sit down, take a minute to figure out what that frustration is, or what that emotion is, I should say, what that emotion is. And then you can kind of figure out how you can tackle it. A couple of tips to avoid the burnout, depending on the situation, are things like I mentioned, like, setting timers. That is a great option. I know Bobby talks about this all the time. This is one that I have to work on because I am that person. Like, I have a task that I want to do. I'm going to finish it, but like, I don't like to have 5 different avenues going on. So it's something that I'm working on. If I start a task, I want to finish it, but that's just not going to work in the season of life. Like, you have to be able to fit it into where you are. Another one is scheduling in a break. Schedule in a break during your week. What that looks like, whether that's taking off an entire day to be with your family, whether that's every night between 6 and 7, I'm setting my phone down and I'm not touching it. There's a lot of different ways that can look depending on where you're at in your life and what you want to, really focus on or put your time into. But make sure you are scheduling that break, because if you don't take that time, you will 100% burnout. I don't care if you are at the top of this industry, if you are hitting every bonus, every reward, every mark that you want to hit, you're going to burn out. It's just a matter of time. Also, you want to keep this fun. And if it doesn't become fun, obviously we're going to fall off, because you're not going to want to show up. With that being said, the flip side, you do have to set your daily non-negotiables. You can't just be like, oh, well, you know what? I'm frustrated. I have mom guilt. I'm exhausted, whatever. I'm throwing in the towel. Like, it won't work like that. You can't just completely give up. So you do have to set your bare minimums, and things like that could be like showing your 3 steps every day. Maybe you want to hit 1 topic a day. So you share your 3 steps, and you shared a win from somebody on the team or something like that. It doesn't have to be crazy. Say you want to reach out to a certain number of people, that kind of stuff. Like, and this is not for everybody, but for me in this season, because it's a holiday season, I am setting my mandatory things a little bit lower. So normally I have a certain amount of people that I want to reach out to daily. Well, I can tell you I'm not hitting those numbers right now, because I know myself. I know my threshold. Yes, ma'am. Will you go ask grandma? I know my threshold, and I know that if I set my goals too high, I will 100%, like, if I don't hit them, I don't do well with failure. I'm a little bit of a overachiever. And sorry, if I, don't hit that mark, then I will fall off. So just know your personality, know yourself, really, like, look inward. And there's nothing wrong with where you set your level, where you set your minimum or anything like that. You just have to be honest with yourself, because this is your business, and, you have your goals. You're not running to somebody else's goals. You're not, trying to reach their achievements or anything like that. You have to sit down, set your goals, figure out the time frame, figure out the season of life you're in, and figure out how realistic that is going to be. And then from there, you got to work backwards and figure out, like, okay, this is what I think I need to do. And if you ever have any issues, don't hesitate to reach out to an upline size sister or anything like that. We're obviously more than happy to help you game plan and figure out a strategy to get you to the goals that you want to achieve. So realistic expectations. Another one, and I know the girls talk about this all the time, is staying close to the fire. Maybe you can't, in this season of life, maybe with the holidays, you can't make all the calls that you normally would. Pick your favorites. Pick the ones that absolutely inspire you, and make sure that you are on them. Make sure that those are your non-negotiables. Make sure that your family understands, like, hey, this is a vital part of my business. Because a lot of times when you start to get in your head, when you start to get down on yourself, getting on those calls is going to be, that could right there be the one thing that pulls you out of the slump that you're in. Just feeling that fire from the other girls, hearing stories, all that kind of stuff, that makes a huge difference. Of course, personal development. This is not a strong suit of mine. It is something that I work on. Know that you don't have to be perfect here. Know that personal development looks different for everybody, and just play around with it. Find something that works for you, whatever that may be, and try to get it in. Maybe you don't get it in every day, but again, just setting those realistic expectations and dialing into it when you need to. And then also, first and foremost, give yourself grace. This is a season of grace. This is a season that you just need to, you need to be kind to yourself, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot on your shoulders. There's a lot that people are expecting of you. There's a lot that you are expecting of yourself that you want to do, all that kind of stuff. So you have to give yourself grace. If you don't hit a mark that you want to hit, it's fine. That next mark is going to be there. You still work there. You still put in some stepping stones, even though you didn't check that one off the box. You still put in stepping stones to get you closer to that goal, which is going to then get you closer to that next goal. Lord, this is like a revolving door around here. Okay. So, with all of that being said, with the holiday seasons, this is a slow season. This is a very slow season. People have their budget. This is a season of budgets and no's is the way I see it. That doesn't mean that we don't keep showing up. That doesn't mean that we don't keep having the conversations, because, people have their set budgets for the holiday season. They know what they can afford. Especially right now with the economy and that kind of stuff, things are a little bit tighter. So just know that if you're getting a lot more no's right now, that is normal. That is totally normal. But keep showing up, keep showing them your consistency, because come the new year, come when, Elite launches and all that kind of stuff, it is going to blow up. And I say this specifically, we are in a health and wellness industry. I say this coming from a previous health and wellness industry. The New Year's, we all know, New Year's resolutions, all that kind of stuff. Just know that your no's right now, they are going to pay off in the end. I think you guys might be seeing more of my bum on this call than anything. Okay, so just continue to pour into, the people that are already at your table. Obviously, you want to keep having those conversations. You want to keep building those relationships, but pour into the people that are already at your table. Check in with them, see, how you can help them. Maybe they want to try something new, or on the flip side, maybe because right now people have their budgeting, people have their financing, flip it. See if your loyal customers, they want to come on as a promoter. Because right now everybody's got that budget. Everybody needs that extra income and that kind of stuff. So this is a great time to hone in on your loyal customers and see if they want to join you on the promoter side of things. And obviously we know that can look like a lot of different things. But okay. So lean into your people. A couple of ideas, obviously if you have credits and stuff like that, offering promos, doing a discount, maybe in the back of your mind, I don't know if Lavelle launches something, but have a Black Friday sale that you might want to offer to your clients, or oncoming clients. One thing that I've done in the past is you can create your own little referral. We have our referral program, but you can give back to your existing customers. Maybe if your customer, if you have credits, maybe you can give them, if they refer somebody to you and they come on board, or even get a sample or whatever it may be, maybe you give them some credits. Or if you don't have a lot of credits, maybe you offer this to a lot of different people and there's one giveaway that you can do. Like they go into a raffle for a giveaway, something like that, where it makes it fun, it makes it exciting, but you're able to give back to your existing clients. And then also make sure, so keep showcasing your stuff, keep doing what you're doing, showing up, sharing why the 3 steps are so incredible for you, especially in this holiday season, the energy, your mood, the finance side of things. Just keep sharing that, but also set the stage for Elite, because it is going to come out. It's coming out mid-December. They're doing pre-orders, I think. And then it's going to launch in January. So start now, hone in now. If you're already getting a lot of, no's and stuff like that, then just start setting the stage for the new year. Start setting the stage for those people that are going to be wanting to lose weight and all that kind of stuff. And just have a game plan for that. And another thing that you can hone on, if you're not making, the sales aren't coming and that kind of stuff, focus on your leadership. Focus on who you are as a leader, building your team. Yes, talking about the business, sharing that, but focusing on yourself as a leader. What that may like, whatever that may look like, practicing, hopping on and doing one of the opportunity lives. That's a great way to get into the position as a leader and to be able to practice and showcase, and all that kind of stuff. But overall, I promise you, I know the burnout is hard. So just lower those expectations for yourself, give yourself grace. And then also, I promise you, if you stick with it through the burnout, it's all going to turn around. There's a lot of different tips to be able to help with it. But most and foremost, keep it fun. Show up in the way that you want to show up. That is going to be the number one thing that keeps you from burning out. If you are looking at other people and you're trying to show up in the way that they're showing up, but it's just not you, that makes it even harder to show up every single day. Not to mention, you are most likely not going to attract your people because you're not showcasing who you really are. So keep it fun, keep it exciting, focus on how you can connect with your warm market. So there's a lot of different ways you can engage on your stories, engage with your clientele throughout the holiday seasons, doing a fun little giveaway. Everybody likes to have their opinion heard. So focus on building those relationships, put up polls in your stories. Like the number one thing that I get my polls on my stories is the nail color I'm going to do or the haircut I'm going to do. Like sharing that kind of stuff, people, it's silly. Like it's super silly. I literally post it 5 minutes before I go get my nails done. A lot of times I don't even have the answers before I go get my nails done, but it creates that engagement. Like I know it's going to skyrocket and it creates that engagement. So do things like that. Do little, try to get in this time period where it's a little bit slower, try to hone in on your clientele, hone in on your followers and connect with them, ask questions, try to get to know them better so that way you can continue to build that relationship and just really focusing on that. If you can run a sale, do that kind of stuff, that always helps people pull the trigger. But most and foremost, just focusing on building those relationships, trying to get samples in people's hands. A lot of times right now, if you get samples in people's hands, they may not pull the trigger now, but I can guarantee you, again, come that New Year's, they are going to pull the trigger. So you're planting those seeds that are going to pay out down the road. Okay, so a couple of actionable steps that I want you guys to take, because I don't know that there's really a working session for us to kind of do here, which I will open it up to anybody if they have any questions for me or anything like that. But a couple of actionable steps that I would want you to do is, one, sit down and make a list of your daily minimum. Right now, with your schedule, this season of life between now and say New Year's, figure out what is realistic for you. Set those minimums and then stick to it. That is going to give you a lot of grace. That is going to kind of be a precursor to avoid hitting that burnout in the holiday season, is just kind of setting yourself up for success. Keeping it more realistic, keeping it manageable, and working from there. And then make sure you're scheduling that break. So go ahead and sit down again, looking at your schedule, figure out, what do you need for a break now? Right now, do you need to take off on Sunday? Which I don't necessarily recommend taking off a weekend, because that's when most people are on their Instagrams or their social media platforms. So maybe schedule it during the week that you can take a day off. Or is that just look like, taking an hour off every night where you're just with your husband or, with your kids or whatever, enjoying dinner, whatever it may be, your phone is put down and that's just a grace period. I know that also goes a long way for our spouses or significant others when you make that effort to do that family time and stuff. And then of course, if you have the ability to do the sales, the promotions or giveaways or anything like that, just kind of keeping it fun, keeping it exciting for your clientele, and all that kind of stuff is going to go a long way. So I'm going to pull up my other notes I took notes. I had my main notes on the chiropractor, and then I was doing some extra notes on the call. I think that is focus on being a leader and, stepping out of your comfort zone, really honing in, practice some skills. Like right now, if you're struggling in certain areas, whether that is making reels or something like that, if that's where you're struggling, focus on, maybe make that one of your non-negotiables, is you want to do 1 reel a week or whatever that may look like, 1 reel a day, depending on where you're at. Just kind of, set the stage for yourself. But I think that is kind of it. Does anybody have any questions about this? Feel free. I didn't look at the chat at all, so I don't know if there's anything in there, but I feel like it's pretty straightforward. So much. Awesome. Okay. Well, I think we are good then. Short and sweet. That's the way I like it. All right, ladies. You have a good night. Thank you so much for hopping on. Bye, guys.